So, I just want to address this topic real fast because this is something that could be happening behind the scenes that can have like a little bit of an impact on how people into astrology are being perceived. So, I recently read this article, right, that claimed that people that are into astrology are more likely to be narcissistic and have a lower intelligence. More likely to be narcissistic and have a lower intelligence. At first I was kind of thinking about it, I'm like, Then I'm like, nah, that wouldn't make sense. Now first I'm gonna go over what they claimed, all right? Now, let me see if I can add these things on here. If not, I have my damn MacBook. All right. So the only thing that sucks with this is that I can't fully like read it because part of it on my end is being covered. So, anyways, but y'all could probably read it. So, this that I'm showing right here, this is just really about the participants that were in the study, which I believe it was mostly women, which already is like weird to utilize for this study because at least when I was studying psychology, I took abnormal psychology class, I remember. This is where you learn about all of these psychological disorders. And I remember narcissism was more linked to males. I understand that today this is different. Obviously, women could be narcissistic as well. But I remember that narcissism was more likely to be linked to males. Histrionic disorder and borderline personality disorder was more linked to females. Just keep that in mind. But, like I said, today, things are different. And I do agree that women can be narcissistic as well. But to have a bunch of females in a study for narcissism is kind of weird anyway, because males do have more of a tendency to be narcissistic than women. Anyway, besides the point, right? My issue with the study in the first place is, the sample size, the sample that they use specifically, but also to, their claims. So one of the first claims that they have, right, is that basically one of the first claims that they have, right, is the reason why they think that astrologers are linked to narcissism or people into astrology is because they feel like astrology is a self-centered study, right? And then for the intelligence factor, the lower intelligence factor, they basically feel like that people into astrology tend to have a lower cognitive ability because of the beliefs that are associated with people that are into astrology, such as like supernatural things. And this is also the stuff that narcissists are associated with, which means now it's be smarter to kind of correlate that with narcissism and intelligence instead of people into astrology, but whatever. Nonetheless, it is what it is. The point is, this article is very misleading, like, because you'll read it and it could just be confirming something really easily until you actually open it up and like read it and you realize like kind of doesn't make sense. So now the reason why it doesn't really make sense too is because, first of all, to say that people that are into astrology would be more narcissistic, right? You would also be claiming that people that are into psychology are more narcissistic. You would also be claiming that anybody that's into the categorization of people as well as people that socially classify people in some sort of way would be narcissistic, because that's all astrology is. You are organizing groups of people by some sort of similarity. This is like the classification of the zodiac signs and stuff. So by saying specifically people into astrology, you would be saying that all these other people are also linked to narcissism. So, but that's what the article is claiming. So I just want to clear it up for people who might have came across this article or may have been feeling this way about people that are into astrology. Most people that are into it, they're really not into themselves. I know, like me personally, when I first learned astrology, yes, I did use it to learn about myself first, because you should before you start to help other people. If you don't know how to, that goes for anything. If you can't help yourself, it's kind of weird to help other people. Now, in rare circumstances, sometimes there are situations where it's like easier to help other people for some reason than it is to help yourself. It could just be because of like, it's something that's just not for you or something, whatever it be. But it's just like, at the end of the day, you do have to learn your own chart before you can help somebody else. So I think where they're like claiming people to be narcissistic is honestly the Leo Aquarius opposition. That whole like, and there's like specific terminology astrologers use. I guess you could say an axis, whatever. But that area could be quite narcissistic because they could use their ideals to glorify them in a sense, and then other people will support that, and that can just make them even more egotistical in a sense. But in general, like, you can't say people that are into astrology are narcissistic. And I'm like, and the reason why too this kind of struck me is because like, now it's actually a pretty old article too, is what I'm realizing. It's from like 2021. It's not that old, but it has the nerve to be posted on Psychology Today. And I'm just thinking like, what the hell is you talking about? So maybe I'm late about it, but I think there was another recent article posted. Yeah, there is. There is another one in November too, claiming the same thing. And this is in Psych News Daily. I didn't even read this one yet. But a new study has found that narcissism is the strongest predictor of people who believe in astrology, and the IQ levels of believers tend to be lower. Even the stars think I am superior. Anyway, the thing with this, like, yeah, so a lot of it too has to do with pseudosciences. Like, a lot of times people think that people that are into pseudosciences and stuff, you know, they try to be critical of people like this. And it's just like, why? Like, what do y'all want? Like, it's like, I just don't understand. Like, who cares? Yeah, and somebody else did another article on January 16th of 2023. Belief on Medium. Belief in astrology is linked to narcissism and lower intelligence. And they probably used those articles to, like, confirm. It's, like, so stupid. It's, like, I just don't understand. like, I don't understand why people care to even, like, criticize certain things. Like, if you don't believe in it, then just don't believe in it. But why, like, make such an extreme claim about a group of people? It's like prejudice and racism, but just dealing with people's belief systems instead. It's like so stupid. But yeah, and then so the first article I was talking about is on Psychology Today, right? Which is the one that was posted in 2021. The end of the article says, the reviewed study had a number of limitations, such as lack of random sampling, participants being mainly young women, and the use of mostly shortened versions of scales. Therefore, future research needs to replicate the present findings. Until then, we should refrain from drawing strong conclusions about belief in astrology and its association with higher narcissism and lower intelligence. See, that's the reason why you have to read the full thing. You sit there, you read the title, and you like, oh, yeah, I kind of thought that people like that into astrology was like that. Then the end of the article is basically saying, like, nah, there's not enough evidence. So, the scary thing about it is that a lot of things in this life that are, like, low-key approved as treatments and stuff, this is how they study things. Like, you don't know the long-term effects of anything. They'll literally do a small sample size for a short period of time and say, yeah, this worked. Give it to them. And then y'all just take it. But you know, it is what it is. We've been doing this for a long time and it seems to be working. So anyways, I just want to address that topic because that was a problem. And I want to clear that up because I know not everybody has the motivation to actually like read the article or actually see like what's going on and the negative things that is being said about your interest, which is, you know, having an influence on how you could be being perceived. Like right there, that is a little bit of like that's a little bit of a example of like witchcraft in a sense, but it's something that can easily be controlled, so it's easily like negated. But at the end of the day, these are the things that happens. So anyway, I want to address that. Much love and light to everyone.